Today I'm going to review this new board game I just received. It is called Reversed Front. This is a game made by a group of Taiwanese designers, and it's about the struggle of the people or nations that are now under the threatening or bullying, to say the least, from Communist China. For example, in this game you can play as Taiwanese, Uyghurs, Hong Kongers, Tibetans, or many other nations. As we all know, Taiwan is always under the threat of being invaded by China, and Uyghurs are now suffering from the ongoing genocide from China. Hong Kong protesters have been abused and killed by the police, and so on and so forth. So your mission in this game will be to lead your people to thrive despite the suppress of China and finally build enough organizations to claim independence from China. This is a game of 4 to 8 players, so you may want to team up with other suppressed nations against China. Well, of course, you can also choose to play as China. Then your mission will be to suffocate all these annoying separatists and finally unify all of China. Without further ado, let's get to the gameplay. Although the basic game mechanics is deck building and area control, there are definitely some other flavor added to the game. For example, you can see this big map where all the action will happen. On the map, there are these circles connected to each other, and each circle represents a city. Most of the cities are in China and its surrounding countries like Delhi, India, but some of the cities are even further away like Los Angeles. So on these circles, you can put in one of your organizations, which is this avatar, plus a little hat with a symbol of your character. As mentioned, the goal of this game is very simple. At the start of the game, you have only one organization on this map, which is your mother base. And at the end of this game, which is usually 20 turns, you need to have 14 organizations to win. Or, if you play as China, you need to stop other players to have 14 organizations. Now, how can you do that? Well, by cards. Roughly, there are 2 types of cards: action cards and event cards. Action cards are the cards you use to build your deck. At the beginning of the game, you have 10 cards on your deck. Each turn, you have 5 cards at hand and can play as many as you like, until you're empty. The card you play out goes to your own discard pile. Then, at the end of the turn, you draw the 5. Those cards you play can either strengthen your organization, like building a new one or move one to the safety zone, or you can use it to weaken your enemy, like discarding one of their hand cards or even worse. But with your initial deck of 10 cards, you cannot do that. You have to buy cards from the public card store here. See those 2 symbols? One is money and the other is publicity. Most cards require a combination of the 2 currencies to buy them. You can obtain resources in 2 ways. One, by playing the resource cards. It's a special type of action card and all of the 10 cards of your initial deck are resource cards. Or 2, in your turn you can choose not to play your card and certain amount of resources, marked here, can be added for you to buy cards. So these are the action cards. You play, you buy, and you optimize. Well, it's fun, but it's also very unrelated to the theme of fighting Chinese Communist Party. Like this card, Negotiation, where you and your teammate both draw 1 card, and this card, a military group, where you destroy one organization of your opponent, blah blah blah. Well, you see, those cards can also appear in a card game of medieval theme or even sci-fi theme. And that's why we have the event cards, which really brings out the theme of the whole game. An event card is played at the beginning of one turn, and it's kind of a quest. If you complete the quest, you will be rewarded, otherwise you'll be punished. The content of each event card is selected among the real-life events that actually happened in China. Like this one, Hong Kongers protest against tyranny, which is self-explanatory. It's one of the many protests where Hong Kongers get beat up, kidnapped by the police. In this event, the quest objective is to at least play 1 card that contains the resource of money, symboling your financial support for protesters. If you succeed, you can get 2 publicity cards, earning your reputation. Otherwise, you'll lose 1 hand card. And also this one, concentration camps in East Turkestan, where Uyghurs and Kazakhs are detained, abused, and murdered. And your quest will be to escort 1 survivor of the camp out of China. Well, if you watch the news, you will be familiar with this event, and this is the main reason CCP is accused of committing genocide right now. And here's the less famous one, the July 5th incident, where CCP claimed to be a riot where Uyghurs murdered innocent Chinese, but actually it's a massacre directed by CCP and caused the death of many innocent Uyghurs and Chinese. Also, you have the India-China standoff event, where you can use this opportunity to expand your organizations, and the Belt and Road event, where China will expand its influence outside its border and endanger your organization, etc., etc. Some of the events are designed so good that if you know any Hong Kongers, Uyghurs, and Taiwanese, bring them to the game. They will burst into tears, I promise. Finally, it's worth mentioning the title, the Reversed Front, which comes from the word United Front, which, in short, it's a high-end propaganda technique of CCP that makes you benefit CCP even when you're not aware of it. For example, while the average CCP propaganda will just completely deny the genocide in East Turkestan, your United Front propaganda will instead promote Islamophobia. Then, if you fail for it, you might think, okay, hey, a lot of Uyghurs are Muslims. You know what? I don't like them both. Maybe I will just step back and keep silent. And in this way, CCP wins. And the title, Reverse Front, is to reverse this technique, to make you aware of all the atrocities CCP have done while playing a game. So for that, I really respect this effort. And I truly think that these things need to be heard by as many as possible. In short, this game is very fun, got a huge amount of potential, but unfortunately, it has no English version. So I do hope they release the version of other languages, and I do think it will be a huge boost if we can make it a video game. So I'll leave their channel and Twitter down there so you can bomb them with your request over there. And this is my review for Reverse Front. Until next time.